Hi, this is Brian Smith for DoingItLocal.com. We are on Elizabeth Street in Derby, inside the Sterling Opera House. This is a building that opened up in 1889, and what you're seeing around me has been here since 1889, except for this guy. This is Rich DiCarlo, who is the chairman of the Valley Arts Council. He's one of the guys, one of the primary people, responsible for trying to rehabilitate and restore and rebuild this beautiful building, built in the 1889. 1889.
It was completed in 1889, and it was the building was started by Charles Sterling, owner of the Sterling Piano Factory, which is a prominent manufacturer in the town of Derby, city of Derby, rather. And it was basically as a place to showcase his pianos. You know, that was a big thing back then. You didn't have radio and TV, so everybody had a piano in their house. So why not have a Sterling piano?
The place is it's beautiful sound. I mean, you can hear everything in here. Tell me a little bit about the sound qualities, the audio qualities of this building.
The audio, the sound is the acoustics in the building was said back in the time to be the most perfect in the country, next to that of the Metropolitan Opera House in New York City. It was built by the guys who built Carnegie Hall, which is also one of the top acoustical buildings in the country. It's based on Wagner's theory of triangulation, but if you look at the stage, we had a small orchestra pit. It was said that the orchestra pit had the bass or the drums or all the bass instruments would be underneath the stage, and so you can hear it like it would be like a
giant subwoofer,
like a giant subwoofer
yep.
That the entertainers on the stage can hear. So you had a subwoofer there with that part of the band. The sides look like little boxes, but those boxes on the side housed the pianos. So we had two pianos for a stereo effect.
So it stayed at the Opera House, and as you said before, opera didn't actually mean there were operas being held here all the time.
The opera house is a generic term for a theater. That's why in Connecticut you see every town has an opera house. Opera wasn't really that, it was popular back in its day, but it really was just a term. There was no movie houses and stuff like that. I'm going to the movie theater. You couldn't say that back then, so you went to the opera house.
It's interesting to see that we have the original ironwork here around in front of the stage. Behind it, the original seating, but these seats don't look like they'd be compatible to human beings in the United States today.
No, people like myself will not fit in these seats, or I'll get up and take one with me, I guess. Yeah, these original seats the people back then, their stature was much shorter, much smaller person, their frame-wise. The railings are about kneecap high to us. Things like that, issues like that have to be addressed, obviously, for new safety issues and fire codes and stuff like that. But you can see the cast system as far as the seats go. They have the bigger seats in the downstairs theater area. These are smaller, but they have hat racks. And in the back of me, in the back of us, we have seating for the help, like chauffeurs and nannies and stuff like that. Those are the folding chairs up in the corners.
Getting servant seating.
Yeah, servant seating. So if you came in with your horse and carriage and your chauffeur or driver were here, he sat in the back.
Not a bad deal.
Yeah.
Now, how many people does the Sterling Opera House here in Derby, how many people did it hold?
I would guesstimate, I forgot, but I think around 1,200 or so was the that's downstairs, all three levels.
And I'm just curious, any idea, do you know how much it cost to get in here to see a show back in the 1890s?
We have found ticket stubs from early 1900, maybe 1920, 1910 or so, and there was 5-cent tickets.
5 cents.
Yes.
Rich, what are the future plans for this Sterling Opera House here in Derby?
Well, the future plans, we'd like to open up back to the public again as a movie, movies and plays and graduation ceremonies for the city, and anybody else wants to use it. It's a public theater venue.
Well, I want to thank Rich DiCarlo for letting us in here today to get this private view. Now, Rich, you have quite a few hats you wear here in the Valley. You want to give us some of them?
Yes, I'm president of the Valley Arts Council that represents the 7 Valley towns and cities in the region, and I'm also the chairman of the Derby Cultural Commission.
Well, you're doing a great job.
Well, thank you very much.
And I don't think you're quite busy enough.
No.
So here we are with a private viewing of the Sterling Opera House here in Derby from the second row of the mezzanine, and I'm kind of afraid to move because I don't want to fall off the edge. I'm Brian Smith for DoingItLocal.com.